What's up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Layla. In this video today, I'm going to challenge you on your thoughts about time and offer you a few things to think about before you say you do not have enough time. I'm also going to be filming a time management Q&A. I have a couple of questions already, but I wanted to make this video first. If there are any questions after this, then please feel free to comment them down below and I will make a whole video dedicated to time management questions. I can probably make quite a few videos on time and time management. It's honestly one of my favorite things to talk about and something that I could easily cover a lot more. So let me know if you do want that, but please let me know if you have any further questions. But let's just jump right into it. The first thing I want to start with is how much of your time you are actually using, that you are aware of. So let's look at a full week. In a full week, we have 168 hours because 24/7. And you can calculate how many hours you work, how many hours you sleep, commute, work out, eat dinner, make food, run errands, things like that. So subtract everything from 168 hours that you do in an average week. So immediately you would subtract 40 hours for work or whatever amount of time that you do work in the week. Calculate how much time you sleep each day and remove that times 7. And then calculate everything else out that you do in the week and see what you're left with. I know that the last time I did this exercise, it was a time when I was still commuting over an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours a day, and also working out longer at the gym, and I had a couple of other responsibilities that I had to take care of throughout the week. And I know I still had over 30 hours left over of free time. And that is insane. That's almost another full-time job. And I know, of course, that you're going to be like, oh, but that is the time for me to relax, or that is time for me to spend with family. I know, we're gonna get there. This is just an exercise for you to see where your time is actually going and how much you do have left over in the week. And we're going to address everything else in just a moment. My next point is that you can do anything, but you cannot do everything. And this can be applied to a lot of areas of life, but especially with time. If you are like me, you probably want to do multiple things, but this just is not possible. Take me, for example. I work a full-time job. I also have 2 YouTube channels. I have a blog. I do all the things that go along with those online businesses. I am also in a relationship. I work out 5 to 6 times a week. I do multiple things throughout my week. However, I would also like to be a yoga master. I would like to go hiking every weekend. I would like to see my family more. I would like to volunteer more. I would like to grow an elaborate garden. There's all these things that I would like to do, but I cannot right now because I can't do everything. And I spread my time out between these things because that is what I choose to put into my life. Now, if I really wanted to go and be a yoga master, I would probably have to remove something else from my life, and we'll get to that point as well. So just keep that in mind. There are different seasons of life, and I know that you probably want to do a lot more things, so it may not feel like there's enough time in the day for you to do various things, but this is just temporary, and you can make time for that later in your life if it's absolutely not possible right now. However, you can still balance the things that are in your life pretty well right now. There is no such thing as a true balance, but you can incorporate really important things, the most important things to you and your health and your lifestyle right now, and balance it pretty well if you manage your time. My next point is that you need to be honest with yourself. Do you actually not have enough time in the day? Or are you spending that time on things that you did not plan to spend time on? For example, social media. Social media is a huge time suck, probably the biggest time suck, and so many people are mindlessly scrolling through Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the social media, and spending hours on these platforms. And you can go and look at your phone and you can see how long you spend on each app on your phone, and it's pretty shocking for a lot of people. It is okay if you are using these things for some time of your day, but then don't fall on the excuse of I do not have enough time when you are spending 2 hours or more on your phone doing things that are not productive or that you do not truly want in your life. And the same thing goes for what you're doing right now. You are watching this video, and I greatly appreciate that, of course, and you are probably trying to find some insight on how to create more time in your life. But how many videos did you watch before this? And how many are you going to watch after this? Did you read articles on time management? So maybe you're watching this to learn something, and that's great, and you're trying to improve yourself. But this is passive action. And what you are doing is consuming a lot of content that you think is going to change your life, but that is just not the case up to a certain point. So if you're consuming all this content, even if it's positivity, but you're spending so much time on it and not actually implementing it or taking massive action, then you are wasting your time on those things. Stop searching for the answer to what you already know. So be honest with yourself. Are you actually using all of your time wisely, or are you wasting it on things that do not serve you? And if you are not sure, you need to start becoming more aware of this. When you're sitting on your phone scrolling through Instagram, be aware of that. Become more mindful of where your time is actually going. This next tip comes down to your priorities and what you are willing to sacrifice. So what are your priorities? Everybody has different priorities, but just because something is your top priority or your third priority, one does not necessarily need to consume all your time. So for example, let's say your health is your number one priority, and then your work is number two, your side hustle is number three, whatever, so on and so forth. Maybe your family is on there, but you do not, if your priority is health, this does not mean it needs to take up 16 hours of your day. Same with family. Your family can still be a priority, but they do not necessarily need hours and hours of your time in the day. What you make time for in your life is based off of your priorities. So it is very clear what my priorities are. My work, I go to work. I go to work on time, I do my work, and that's it. My side business, I come home, I work on my stuff, I make it a priority by actually doing it and dedicating my time to it before other things. I also prioritize my health. I go to the gym 5 to 6 times a week. That does not mean I spend hours and hours in the gym. I'm working out for 45 minutes to an hour, 5 to 6 times a week. You've got to be clear on your priorities, and if you are not making time for it or not willing to move things around to make time for it, then it is not your priority, and that is okay. Like I said, you may be in a certain season right now where maybe you're in school, or maybe you are a parent to young children, so you can't make something in your life a priority even though you want to. And that is okay. You can still fit it in sometimes, but you may not have time for that in your life right now. The other thing is you are going to have to sacrifice things. So with all of the things I do, my social life is down here. Like, I do not have a social life. It's pretty rare for me to go out. I am in a relationship, but outside of that, I don't really spend time with other people. But guess what? I am okay with that because that is not my priority right now. And I don't want it to be right now. This is something that you will see with a lot of business owners, for example. So if you have somebody who is a really wealthy business owner, and this doesn't have to be the case, but let's say that they are grinding almost 24/7, their family life is probably lacking. They're probably sacrificing time with their family, or they may be sacrificing their health because they're spending so much time on their business that they're not able to dedicate time to their health. Now, I'm not suggesting that, but that is what they want to do. They are choosing to prioritize their business over their health. So they realize that they are not making time for their health. They are consciously doing that, even if they won't say it. Because if you wanted things to balance out a little bit more, you don't need to dedicate hours and hours. You can just fit this into your life a little bit. If you do want to make time for something or make something a priority in your life and dedicate more time to it, then you're going to probably have to sacrifice something in your life. And so another example of this is sleeping. So I still sleep about 7 hours, 7.5 hours a day, but I choose to wake up a lot earlier than I need to be up so that I can work on my businesses. And so you can do that as well. You could stay up a little bit later. I'm not saying for you to sacrifice your health and cause a problem in your life, but maybe if you are somebody who typically sleeps in, maybe you sleep for 10 hours a day, you can change that. You can remove those days where you sleep in on the weekend, or instead of going out with your friends on the weekend, you stay home and do something else. This is just like with anything else. If you want to lose weight, then you're probably gonna have to sacrifice going out to eat all the time with your friends or with your spouse, or whatever the case may be. Everything has a sacrifice. This is an opportunity cost. You have to ask yourself, what am I willing to give up to make time for this thing in my life? This next point may be the most important on this list. So you can still make progress in a short amount of time. What do I mean by that? Basically, if you want to start working out, for example, you do not need to spend 2 hours in the gym every single day of the week. You can just dedicate maybe 3 or 4 days of your week and spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes in the gym. You can even work out at home, watch a YouTube video for 15, 20 minutes, and you can start your journey to getting healthier or to getting in shape, losing weight. And as I keep saying, maybe this is a season in your life where you cannot dedicate a lot of time or more time to your health right now, but you can do something. You can still make progress and make time for it with the little bit that you may have. The same thing goes for if you want to start a side hustle or a business or an online business. So let's go back to that weekly breakdown of where you're spending your time. Let's go really dramatic here, and let's say literally after everything that you do in the week, you only have 30 minutes of free time. If you really want to create a business or do something, a side hustle, make more money, you can do that with 30 minutes a week. Because slow progress is still progress. Small steps are still steps. And so what can you do in that 30 minutes? Let's say you want to start a blog, for example. The first week, you create a plan, you pick a niche. The second week, you make a list of blog post ideas. The third week, you set up your blog. Maybe the fourth week, or maybe the 10th week, whatever, you have 2 full days to dedicate to this blog, and you can knock out a few things, you can learn a few things, and then maybe the next week you only have 30 minutes again. But you can do something in that time, and after a year passes, and let's say you've been doing this every single week, and you start writing your blog posts and you start getting traffic to your site, and then you start making revenue by putting ads on your blog, or you get a sponsored post, and then you can see that just by dedicating a little bit of time, you have grown your little side hustle. I think a lot of the time people look at other people and see like, oh, in order for me to have that body, I have to spend X amount of time in the gym. In order for me to have a successful business, I really need 5 hours a day to work on it. That's not how it works for most people, so you don't need to do that. And things may change for you in the future. Maybe in a couple years from now, you'll have more time and you can dedicate more time to those things. But for now, just do what you can. If you really want it in your life, you will do it. Next thing is that you need to be self-aware. I am an avid listener of Gary Vaynerchuk. If you listen to Gary Vaynerchuk as well, then you know he preaches self-awareness, and it is so important, especially when it comes to your time and what you are dedicating your time to. Speaking for myself, I love the way that my life is set up. I like that I have a routine. I wake up at a certain time. I do things I have my morning routine. I write in the morning. I go to work. I come home at a certain time. I do things. I go to the gym. I work on my stuff, and then I go to bed. I go to bed early. On the weekends, I don't go out. I don't party. I don't hang out with people. And I love that. I am happy with how my life is at the moment. Now, somebody else doing the same exact thing as me, or you listening to me explain my schedule, may hate that. Maybe you think that's horrible. Like, where is your free time? Where are you having fun in your life? But that's not what I want right now. This is fun to me. I like doing these things. And so if happiness for you looks like coming home from work and watching Netflix, that is fine. If that is what you want, then do that, because that is what you want. Just realize that you cannot say, oh, I wish I had time for that, when you are watching Netflix and choosing not to work on your business or not to work out. Be self-aware of what you are choosing to do and what you actually want to do. Just because I have these goals, just because I manage my time this way, or the next person does something, you don't have to follow that. You don't have to do that. It all depends on what you truly want. And like I keep saying, if you really, really want something in your life, you will make time for it no matter what. The final thing I want to leave you with is stop making excuses, especially when it comes to time. Stop saying, I do not have time for that. Stop saying, must be nice. Stop saying, I wish, I should, etc. Those excuses are just holding you back. And by you speaking those things, you're literally just wasting even more of your time. If you really just take a step back from your life and really look at how you are spending your time, you can probably see that you are just making excuses. Really get clear and really start paying attention to where you're spending your time, and start taking action instead if that is what you want to do, and don't make it an excuse any longer. There are always going to be a lot of things that you want to do. There's going to be a lot of things that come up that make it feel like there's just not enough time in the day or not enough time in the week. But you dwelling on that, or even just feeling that way, doesn't really serve you. So if you instead just focus on the journey, focus on taking action, then you will start seeing the results that you actually want and living the life that you actually want to live. And just to be clear, nothing in this video is to make you feel bad or to make it feel like I am attacking you. That is not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to make it clear for you that you can choose how you live your life. A lot of times we make life really complicated just in our head, but life can be really simple, and it actually is really simple if you just look at it from a big picture. Of course, you're going to go through struggles. Of course, you're going to lose time here and there, and things are going to come up, and you are going to feel stressed out or overwhelmed. But just take a step back and realize what you really want in your life and make time for it if you really want it. So just be practical with what you choose to do and be honest about what you want, and go from there. I do have a blog post on this very topic. I will link it down below in the description box if you're interested in reading that. Otherwise, please comment down below if you have any specific time management questions. I will be making a video on that very soon. If you have any other personal development video requests, please leave those down below as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.